I am going to go science on you this morning, all right? Now, I know for some, your eyes begin to roll into the back of your head, you start to get a little drowsy, and I can appreciate that. But today is something that we came across some research that just validates and reiterates why you lovely people are all here with me. Right, and that's because Balance University and the graduates program is a fitness class targeted at your balance. We all know how serious the falls are in our senior community. Today specifically though, we're going to talk about neurological diseases. I have someone I'm working with now that has Parkinson's, and this guy I would consider a high achiever. He's a CEO type. And to be delivered a diagnosis like Parkinson's is hard for anybody, right? But for someone that has been independent, not that you have to be the CEO type, but just being independent and being able to do things on your own, getting a diagnosis like that can be pretty devastating. But let me tell you, it's just that. It's just a diagnosis. It's not an identity. Let me make that clear, all right? So we've been working with him because exercise, it forces the brain to change. The brain is malleable, right? We've learned that. You guys heard me talk about that and speak about that ad nauseum. And so what I want to do today, what we're talking about this morning are fitness, exercise, and neurological diseases, right? We know balance is a big issue as we age, and I came across some research that just reiterates and validates why you guys are here in this class. I'm going to try to water this science down for you real quick, and we're going to scoot along here. So what I found was a study that looked at a whole thousands of peer-reviewed articles. And they gathered some data and came to a conclusion. Let me give you some background on this. So people or persons with what they're calling chronic neurological conditions, that's our neurological diseases, right? That's just the medical term, chronic neurological conditions, often present with asymmetrical impairments. That just means different impairments, creating significant differences between contralateral limbs. Contralateral would be like my right arm, my left leg. It's just opposite sides of the body. Limbs and functions. These asymmetries have been associated with reduced mobility and balance and are often targeted for reduction during rehabilitation. So what that means is when you go to rehab, they're looking to reduce the symptoms and increase your mobility and balance, improve your balance. Exercise training has established benefits for people or persons with CNCs, that chronic neurological conditions, and may have positive effects on outcomes. Now, the objective here is to review. These guys took a bunch of studies and they were going to review to summarize evidence for the effect of exercise training, very important here, on gait, balance, physical fitness, asymmetry, and that's science talk, and physical fitness, okay? Now, what they found out of 3,493 articles, quite a few, that's how many they went through. What they found was that the evidence suggests that exercise training, what we're doing here, fitness targeted at your balance, as a component of maybe rehabilitation or everyday life, has a positive effect on your balance and gait, especially with those with neurological disorders, okay? Gets even more fun. How many of you love aerobic fitness? Aerobic means running a 5K where you have to breathe hard. How many of you love breathing hard when you exercise? Show of hands. Just for the record, no one raised their hand. So aerobic fitness and aerobic capacity correlate with brain size, is what this study found in humans and in other animals. So keep that there, okay? Brain capacity to adapt to ever-changing conditions, also known as brain plasticity or neuroplasticity, depends on the ability of neurons to modify strength and composition. Hang on, don't go anywhere. I know this is a lot of their connections in response to both external and internal stimuli. What that means, if I'm in a proprioceptive environment, how well is my brain going to respond to this external stimuli? right? So by exercising, it changes the brain, increases the size of your brain, specifically the hippocampus, which is in here and highlighted. Remember, all my references and sources are on the website. If you want to pull it and go through it, you can. I'm not going to get there today. You're just going to have to take my word for it. But what we're doing here, guys, is exactly what this research is saying. We're using exercise to increase the size of our brain, to improve the connections between neurons in our brains, right? We want to be able to put ourselves in proprioceptive positions and recall this position so that in an event such as stumping my toe or going to fall, I have such great memory recall that my body has remembered and memorized the balance, so that when I begin to cross the point of no return, my brain recognizes that quicker, and I adjust and catch myself. Does that make sense? Okay, good deal. Bunch of other stuff here, guys. I'm not going to go through it. It gets pretty sciencey. I just want to make sure. It talks about BDNF. All right, you guys remember us talking about BDNF and that neurotrophin? It goes through the study of learning words and memorizing words. How would you like to learn Polish? They took some subjects and had them memorize 40 Polish words prior to exercise, 40 Polish words post-exercise. Which group do you think did better? Post-exercise. That's right. We talk about that ad nauseum. Last thing, maybe, if I can get there. Last thing, let me leave you with this, because I know you're chomping at the bit. At the cellular level, it was found that treadmill exercise increases hippocampal neurogenesis. Say that 3 times fast. Hippocampal neurogenesis. It's in the brain. All right. You guys, any questions? Let's rock and roll. Let me have you stand. We'll get behind our chairs.